Hi everyone, this is John with Sir Winston Honeybees. Today is Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. Here in Northeast Ohio, we're in the middle of this heat wave. It's only about 9:30 and it's already 82 degrees. So it's supposed to climb up to 95, 97 degrees today. And so therefore what I'm going to do is I want to get into hives today and do what I need to do today. And what I need to do today is, let me just tilt you down real quick. I have a little problem with I use a DJI Osmo to stabilize my camera, and the power just died on that. So I'm kind of going a little bit different on the setup. Anyway, hive number 1 right here, as you can see, is a bee barn. Hive number 2 over on this side, standard Langstroth hive. Need to convert this hive to a standard Langstroth hive. That means tearing down all the foam, the front cover, and then this part that you see up here is actually a Langstroth hive, if you will, with 10 frames of deep frames up there. We have a queen in this hive, and that queen is actually in the top. How do I know that? Well, if you watch my last video, you'll notice that when I inspected this top over here, we saw brood. And why do I think that the queen is up here? Is because I put a queen excluder between the top of this bee barn right here and this box. And so since there's brood, that means that the queen is up there. That's what I'm assuming right now. I need to get into the bottom part to see what the situation is over there. But as long as we see brood up here, we're suspecting that the queen is also up there. You're going to have a little bit of a strange camera angle today, but the important thing is, as I tear this down, you're going to get a wide shot. I only have about an hour to do this because I have things to do in an hour. I have my glasses to check for brood and eggs and larvae. So let's quit wasting time and go ahead and get this done. Now, before we get started, I do want to talk about my smoker right down here. So usually, you know, I'm a big proponent of the Apisola smokeless smoker, but since today's going to be a bit of an aggressive day in the hives, I'm going to go ahead and use my regular smoker. I do have a regular smoker. It's by Flow. It's a nice smoker. Has an insert that comes out. I really like that. But what do I use for smoker fuel? How does that work? You know, a lot of people talk about smoker fuel, how to get smokers started. Smokers can be a real pain because sometimes they don't stay lit. So a couple years ago, found something on the internet, and you know it's got to be true if it's on the internet, which is actually like a kind of fuel which lights up really easy and stays lit. And it's really simple. Like I said, some people use pine needles, some people use pine shavings, like animal bedding from the farm store, and you know, all kinds of stuff. Burlap is another option, but I use these pellets right here. And these are, let me bring you up closer, these are biomass pellets. It's from the Northwest Pennsylvania Beekeepers Association, and they are blue stem switchgrass. They're basically just buds. And if you want some, 7 pounds, contact Bill at 814-566-6716. So I don't know Bill, and I'm not a member of the Western Pennsylvania Beekeepers, but this stuff works really good. So let's just take a quick look at it. They're basically just pellets, right? But they're not like your smoker pellets that you use, you know, in your Traeger. They're kind of the same consistency, but they're a little bit more flammable. So this is what I use when I use my smoker. So I'm going to go ahead and light the smoker and get ready to go. I don't have a lot of time to get the work done, so let's get to it. All right. So as you can see, we got a good smoker going there. Again, using those pellets. I like to use a cork from a bourbon bottle or something. This is actually from a tequila bottle. There's a bourbon aged tequila. Oh, it's good. Have to cut it a little bit, and I put it on top of the smoker when I'm done, just to kind of, you know, stop the smoker, and sometimes it saves some of the pellets. I also have a container to the side over here to put my bee barn frames, because I suspect we'll probably have some honey in them, and we'll want to harvest whatever we can. We didn't harvest the honey from the other bee barn, and I'm already out of breath. It's so hot and humid. But we already harvested honey from the other bee barn, and we got about 45 pounds out of it. So it was messy because it was brood and other stuff in there too. But we got it nice and cleaned up, and so we have some good honey. By the way, if you like what you see, of course, subscribe to the channel right here. And also, give me some thumbs up. And I will be at the Summit County Fair on the first day of the fair at the Summit Beekeepers Association booth from 12 to 3, and I hope to have some honey for sale if the relatives don't pick it all off. All right, so let's get to work right here in this hive and start tearing it up, as they say. Have my glasses on so I'll be able to see what's going on. All right, just give them a little smoke. You won't be able to see the bottom just because the camera angle is odd today, so the best we can do for you. All right, so this should go straight into a hive full of bees right here. I put my queen marker and my queen trap, if you will, right here to the side in case I spot the queen. I'm not sure what year she is. I think she is a new queen, but either way, I'm just going to mark her with white just so I can see her when I go into the hives. I'm not a commercial beekeeper, but I have a general idea when I see this queen what her age will be. So first off, looking at the top, and I'll tell you the past couple of days, past couple of inspections, this hive has been very aggressive. It's very calm right now. So that's kind of a good sign. Got a couple of bees fighting over here, but just checking the top here to make sure the queen isn't up here. We're still in a good nectar flow, so we're not worrying about robbing at this point in time. All right, as always, I like to set this over here. I'm going to move it out of the way here in a little bit, only because we're going to be tearing all this foam out. So just a bit of smoke. I already have one bee in my face. A little bit of smoke across the top, gently puffing. And again, we'll go ahead and get started quickly up here to see if I spot the queen or more brood. Just again to, let me get on this side so you can see me. Just again to confirm that there is a queen indeed up above the queen excluder. There's a lot of propolis too. I'm going to be harvesting some propolis this year. I have some propolis traps. All right, they are drawing the comb. Again, we're not doing a big inspection, just enough. We're going to see if we can spot the queen. All right, so you can see they're already getting testy. Well, it's a warm day, so kind of do a little bit of a balancing act here. All right, let's get to the inspection. Get a little smoke. Wow. So I can tell you that ants have been getting inside of the foam, and there's a lot of foam on the ground here. So definitely time for ending this bee barn. I have another queen excluder. I'm going to grab that real quick. I'm going to put this box on the ground, and I'm going to talk while I walk. But I'm going to put this this box on the ground, and if there's a queen in there, I don't want her to drop down onto this this lid. So we're looking for evidence of a queen. The evidence of queen, if you don't spot the queen, particularly or specifically, is brood, eggs, larvae. All right, and I'll show you what that is as I inspect through here. This frame is not drawn out. There's a little bit of drawing out, but these bees have been slow at drawing out these 21st bee frames. But I know once they're drawn out, I mean, they're already awesome, but once they're drawn out, they're going to be super awesome. Here we go. This is a fully drawn out frame. Let's see if we see. This one has some nectar in it. It's true nectar, not syrup, because this hive hasn't been fed. So this is a good food frame for the bees. Since it's drawn out and it just has nectar, I'm just going to put it on the end of the frames. I'm going to try and checkerboard those 21st bees frames. Checkerboarding is, you know, blank, full, blank, full, just so the bees kind of work around it. You can scan up and down or back and forth, whatever is your preference. My eyes prefer up and down, only because I can focus a little bit on that smaller space. If you watch my channel, you know I'm notoriously awful at spotting queens. Okay, no queen there. Like I said, I'm going to put this one on the outside. Now I'm putting it more on the inside. I'm going to show you why in just 1 second. Again, checkerboarding is blank, full, right? And as I'm looking at this next frame from 21st bee, I'm seeing that this one is drawn out, or getting drawn out. So they're working on these frames, trying to build space for the queen. I wish they'd do it faster, but again, I'm working fast today only because my wife has something in an hour, and I want to make sure I'm done and out of here. This next frame, of course, is a wooden frame. It's an older frame that I have, so it was already drawn out. And as I can tell you just from looking at this edge, that it's drawn out even more. It has some new honeycomb on it. Why? Because it's really white and clean. Okay. So as you can see, This is cap brood. And cap brood are eggs in the pupal stage, or bees in their pupal stage. This is their last stage of development before emerging as adults. And so that tells me, at least from the brood, the cap brood, is that there has been queen activity on this frame. This frame, when we harvested honey, we kind of chopped it up. So there was no brood on this frame. Now, there's no guarantee the queen is up here. There could be a faulty queen excluder, so she might have moved down. But we'll keep inspecting and see from there. On this side, again, more cap brood. So we're going to look very carefully. Eyes very focused, looking for that queen up here. Potential sign of queen activity would be eggs, larvae. Larvae would definitely tell me that there is a queen up on this frame. Scanning up and down. And you know, as always, just have fun. As long as you have a good suit and a smoker going, whether it's a traditional smoker or the Apisolus. Now I'm going back and forth, giving it a little blow just to kind of move them around a little bit, wrangle them out of the way. They're piling up on something here, so I'm kind of seeing if that's a queen, but I don't see her. It usually takes them a second or two to pop that egg into a cell. All right, so nothing here, but except for the cap brood. All right, this is our last drawn frame, so we'll see if the queen is here. Maybe, maybe not. Like I said, she could be in the bottom. If she's in the bottom, we're going to have to get our clip and move her down. All right, a little bit of cap brood down there, but I feel like there's less cap brood that's emerged. So my suspicion now is that the queen is in the bottom, which kind of complicates things a little bit, but not. It would have been easier if the queen was up here, and we would have been able to just quickly move and tear up down below. So that theory is now disappearing. All right, time to smoke, because now we are going to go into the main part of the hive. And if I can find the queen, I'll put her in a clip. Never want to drop your hive because that really pisses them off. There we go. But you know, when there's propolis involved, things just get sticky. All right, you can see there's a lot of bees up here. A lot of dead bees here. Look at this. I don't understand what that's all about, but we'll shake them off. It has been very warm, making sure one of these aren't the queen. It's a strange thing. All right, let me go grab that queen clip, just in case we're successful in finding her. Got the clip. Here's the clip. You clip the queen into this clip, and she can't get out. Other bees can go in and out, but she can't get in and out, so got that clip. All right. Let's take this off with a lot of dead bees on it. Strange thing. This is obviously the main part of the hive. We'll be very focused in looking for our queen in here. And again, we'll start from this side. So if we see brood down here, this is drone brood. So we could have a laying worker. Don't know for sure yet, but there are, fresh larvae in there. So quick search for our suspect. Now, why is drone brood a sign of a laying worker? Well, queens can decide whether they lay male bees, which are drones, or female bees, which are all the other workers, just by fertilizing the egg when she lays it. A worker bee can lay an egg, but does not have the ability to fertilize it. So an unfertilized egg will always develop into a male, a drone. So now you know something. You see that honey up on top, obviously desirable for harvesting. So I'm very carefully going to put this frame on the ground in case the queen is hanging out on this frame. I have put the queen on the ground before, so that's why a little extra caution. This next frame is heavy with honey, and we have regular brood. Okay. So the queen is definitely not up top. See, this is worker brood. It's not bubbly. It's not bubbly. And we've got some fresh drones, fresh larvae. So we've got multiple stages of development happening right here. And larvae in their smaller stage too. So a couple days old larvae to about a week old larvae, and then in about 10 days it caps. All right, so let's zero in and find this queen. She's definitely down here. It's not up top. So the goal right now is to find that queen, because she has to be clipped in order for me to tear up this bee barn. I could probably take the foam off and come back and keep inspecting. So the foam's not necessary. So, you know, underneath this foam is just a regular Langstroth hive. Anyone following the World Cup? Who are you rooting for? What are you thinking of the video so far? You want to comment? If you want to comment down below. Ask questions. Disagree with me. Tell me I'm doing something wrong, which, of course, I appreciate your feedback. Subscribe. Give me those thumbs up. So I'm rooting for Australia and the USA. I have cousins from Australia. And, yeah. So rooting for the USA, of course. Always got to root for the USA. But also Australia. I don't think Australia's got a chance to make it far in the knockout rounds, but I see a little, what's called a little practice cup, which is kind of like just a little cup where bees just kind of create this little cup where they could lay an egg, or the queen would lay an egg, and then if they don't like the queen, there's a lot of larvae though. So the queen's not unhealthy. There's a bee right in this front center. Wants a good seat. It's going along for the ride. One thing I want to make sure that you understand is that beekeeping is dangerous. You can get stung, obviously, and you can get stung multiple times. And so you have to be careful. That means proper equipment is necessary. I watched some videos of some of these people that grab bees with their hands. You know, some people can do the beekeeping gloveless. But, you know, safety is always paramount with everything. All right, I'm going to increase double my speed a little bit, just because I want to make sure I get back in the house. So there's brood, as you can see. Not a lot of bees on this frame, but that's advantageous because that means that they're out just, you know, collecting nectar, foraging for food. And so less bees means easier on the eyes, right? Seeing plenty of larvae. So it's a good sign. It's a good sign. It's not a great laying pattern, but this hive is very, very populated. So it's not like this queen hasn't done what she needs to do. You don't want to blow smoke on them. Just kind of puff it over them gently. They'll get the idea. Just like that. As you can see, the pellets are holding out great. Still continuing to smoke. Just like in your Traeger. Except they're not as dense as the Traeger pellets. Now this frame has a great brood pattern on it. A lot of these are honey bound. That means that the bees are putting, obviously, nectar, and so the queen doesn't have a lot of room to lay. And really this time of year, you know, the queens kind of slow down a little bit, especially in this heat. Who wants to do anything in this heat? I'm sure the queens don't want to work overtime in this heat. As we move into the next few weeks, we're going to be moving into a dearth, and so a lot of this honey is necessary. And the other thing we need to start focusing on here in the next few weeks also is going to be mite management. So, you know, the Varroa mite is a pest that introduces diseases into hives, and that's what we see, the collapse of the, you know, the hive collapse. And so we want to make sure that we control it. There's various chemicals, and they're organic chemicals that are used to treat mites. And we have to rotate our treatments because you use the same treatment just like antibiotics in humans. You know, they develop a resistance to the Varroa prevention, if you will. It actually just kills the Varroa. But so we have various things that we use. I prefer the oxalic vapor, but I can't use oxalic vapor all the time. So once the temperatures cool down, I'm going to throw some mite control in here. It's called Formic Pro. It's pretty aggressive, but before I do that, obviously, I'm going to need to just do a quick mite check. And I'll show you that in the next few weeks. I'm going to go away on Sunday on a work trip to Washington, D.C. and then I'll be gone between there and then to the south, to Tennessee and Mississippi on a tour of Civil War battlefields. So I'm excited for that. I am a history teacher, and in the summer I do professional development when I go to these workshops. So I just came back from the Austin, Texas, at the Lyndon Baines Johnson Library. I had a great workshop there about, the legacy of President Johnson. And of course, this being America 250, there's a lot of focus on the Declaration and other important documents of our founding. Look at that brood pattern. I mean, that's a good laying pattern right there. So it's not an old queen. But where is she? Where are you, queen? Show yourself. I mean, we got really great larvae. So here's my plan as I'm formulating in my head real quick, only because of my time. My plan, of course, today was to tear down the bee barn, but if I just find the queen, clip her, put the hive back together, and put her in the top, right? Release her into the top above the queen excluder. But the first order of business is find this queen in here. As I'm doing this, I want to remind you, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I want to keep the channel going. This channel is fun to do, but mostly it's a project. I teach audio video production as well as history. And so students always want to be YouTubers. Right? So, Mr. Murphy, I want to be a YouTuber. How can I be a YouTuber? So I say, well, it's easy to be a YouTuber. Then I show them this. They have multiple projects. They create their YouTube channels, find their niche, their hobby, and then just put it on YouTube. Or you can just talk about nothing. That's what some YouTubers do. Oh, there's the queen. All right. Here's my queen right here. And I'm going to move out of frame because I'm going to clip her and save her. She's safely in the clip. I'll bring her on camera here in a second. Put this back together. Show you the queen in the clip. And then, like I said, for now, I'm going to put her in the top. Because that's going to be actually her permanent residence. I should mark her, but it is a new queen. She seems nice. All right. I'm going to put this queen in front of the camera so you can see. And Maya is my son's partner. And Maya came out. Actually, I'm going to put the Maya video up. But Maya wasn't able to find the queen. And I know they were very disappointed. So I'm going to show you this queen here in this clip very carefully. I don't want to drop her. So hopefully you see that queen crawling around in there. There's a queen. It's a good queen. All right. So the queen is just going to go in the top box. So if you ever go to the Palmer House Hotel, my son Spencer might check you in. He works the front desk. He's been there a year and a half. So I want to mark the queen. Since I'm here and I have her, let me go ahead and get this pen ready. I have the queen here. I have this little trap. If I can trap her, great. Otherwise, I'm just going to release her into this hive. Delicate operation. Here she goes. She's climbing out. Got her in here. Don't need this clip anymore. So hard. Get this off of her. Here she is. Big fat white dot. Carefully put her in here. Release this very carefully. We don't want to squish her. Success. All right. I'm going to wrap up as I close up because this will be part one. I'll come back this evening and conclude part two, which will be tearing down this bee barn. Like I said, my wife has an appointment and I have to be in the house. But great, right? Everything looks great. So we got a queen at the top. We have a queen excluder. She can't go back down. And tonight, just tear up the bee barn. I'm just going to leave everything out here and continue. All right. So this will be part one, and I'll be back this evening for part two.
3 hours later.
Hi everyone, I'm back. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Situation's a little messed up with the tripod, so this is what you're getting right now. But as you can see, I'm going to tear all this foam off and turn this into a Langstroth hive. As you remember, queen's up here, and whoops, here we go. But here's the thing, it's hot in the hive and they're bearding. So I'm going to have to take this off kind of carefully, and then I'm going to shake them into the hive. So I'm going to deal with this part last. Hopefully they won't drop on the ground, but if they do, they'll find their way back. I'm not going to smoke them right this second but I do have the smoker going. All right, so here we go. So look at this. This foam is all chewed up by ants. So don't want ants. These are all ant burrows over here, as you can see in the foam. By the way, it's about 95 degrees right now. So it's considerably warmer than it was. Trying to do it without breaking this foam. The front has to come off first after all. All right, so what I wanted to do right away, but hey, go with what they give you. All right, so down here somewhere should be a couple of, there we go, there's one. Try and be gentle taking off this front part so they can still continue to hang out. Look at that. It's like, you know how they have barrel of monkeys? That's kind of what this is right here. All right, see the front piece comes off. Yep, it's giving a little bit more generously, if you will. You know that we have a bottom piece with tape. So I'm just gonna kind of gently break it. The ants are very, very significant. There we go. More ants, as you can see, lots of ants. It's kind of tricky working with all these bees hanging in the front, isn't it? Oh my goodness. The ants are insane. All these ants. Sorry that you get to see a lot of my butt today. Wasn't my intention. Okay. Freeze that up. And freeze that up. Cut this bottom board. And cut this piece right here. Alright. I think everything's cut. Now what I'm seeing is this piece somehow attached. Ironically, I had to repair that last year. I wonder if maybe there's 3 bolts. There's 1, 2. Nope, just 2. But we'll keep cutting, and we'll fix it in time for winter, because we're going to put this back in the winter time. I don't want to keep making use of these pieces. This bottom board is just a little different than the other one, the way that was installed. There we go. All right. Again, these will all be safe for winter time. So we'll insulate the hive. But we should just be able to lift this at this point, hopefully. I remember my buddy Joe Malone spent so much time cutting this foam for me, which reminds me, I don't think Joe Malone is a subscriber to the channel, but you should be. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button. There we go. All right. Oh, here's an excellent tool for prying things loose. Coming apart a little slowly. This bottom board's a little different because it's got a lip on it. Now's a good time to smoke some bees, right? All right. So we're pretty much back to, except for that foam on the bottom, that we're going to take care of here shortly after we take everything apart. But everything's looking quite Langstrothy, if you will. Oh yeah. This is it, huh? All right. Well, now it's time to take the top off with the queen, and then we'll take everything apart, start shaking bees into the hive. Put this here, and I'm going to put this queen excluder right here. So when I lift that top part of the hive that has the queen, I'll just safely put it on top of that, cover it up for now, and continue to take the hive down. These frames are coming out, and they're going to go in that container that I have the camera on top of. Remember, just puff them, puff them, puff them. And then when I put the Langstroth on top of the bottom board, I'm just going to shake whatever bees are in here into the hive. Then it'll get covered, and then it's going to get a feeder. So we're going to have honey on here, which we're going to harvest, probably not for a couple of weeks, which is not ideal, but that's where we are. So we're not going to harvest this one. We'll probably just let the neighborhood bees have at it. Well, there's some good honey on there, but I don't want to deal with that brood. It's messy. I'm not going to shake them now because we don't want them in these boxes. So, again, that's a frame that I could probably harvest. A little bit of honey on there, not too much. So, keep leaning them up against this. You're not getting the best camera shots today, that's for sure. But this frame has some brood on it. I wonder if the brood would emerge if it was just sitting unattended. My guess is probably not. The brood would just die. Oh, this is heavy. Okay, this is a good frame for harvesting. All right, final cut. Ant stuff off. Oh my God, the ants. This is crazy. Look at this. These ants. Yeah, it's just nuts. Do a quick cleanup here. Smoke, smoke, a lot of smoke. A lot of bees. Need a lot of smoke. I've always kept the bottom boards closed. Some people keep them closed, some people keep them open. But if they need to be pulled apart, they'll get pulled apart. Okay, might cause trouble, right? Let's just transfer bees from one hive to the other. Let's do that. Let's do it like that. I think that's pretty good. A little bit more angle here. Could probably just leave the frames out and the bees should fly back in, but go ahead and give them a little bit of help. Kind of see things coming together as I shake the bees back into there. All right, one shaken, two should be pretty satisfying. Keep an eye out for this one. Here we go. Oh man, keeping is hard work, especially when it's hot. But it's a summer sport, as they say. Two more frames. Why am I shaking them into here? Well, this is their hive, right? The queen is in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put these frames away. You can't see me, sorry, but these frames in here and cover them. Oh my goodness, anything's sticky with honey, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. Just going to bang it. Some bees fall off it. All right, oh yeah. And I'm going to give them a top entrance. That way, the ones that are in that box can escape. Oh, before I do that, let me get a feeder, because I'm going to feed them. Want them to eat, obviously, but also want them to build out comb. So I open up this hole, because that's where the feeder goes. And they have a top entrance here, so bees that are still hanging around that top lid can escape and find their way down. They're almost there. All right, let's go grab a feeder. So this syrup is just 1-to-1 sugar water. Same stuff you put in your favorite cocktails. So the bees, they have cocktails. Now, this we can't use for honey, right? Because it's sugar water. It's not nectar from the flowers. They can deposit it in the cells. We cover it up, protect it from animals. No queen excluder now. Cover it up, and we are done. Yeah, quite harrowing, okay? All right, I'm gonna come back here and peek down a little bit for you. All right, guys, that was quite a day, huh? We got everything done that we wanted to do. We got our queen, we marked her. She's in this box right here. We transferred all the bees out from the bee barns into here. Bee barn containers, or bee barn frames are in the container. I'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk about maybe harvesting some of that honey out of there on Saturday. Not as much as we had before, but probably 10 pounds at least. So, whoops, here I am in the frame. And yeah, that's it. So we had a lot of fun, and the fun always continues with bees. So if you want to know more about beekeeping, you know what you should do? You should watch this video right here.